Second take without anybody actually assaulting me or screaming at me. This is a good day. So I'm going to do a second take just because I feel like being an annoying little git. Also like to point out, if you're drunk and you glare at somebody and you can't walk a straight line and you run into a tree like that guy did, good on you if you're watching. Anyway, here we go. I put up a video. Someone posted a comment or a set of comments. Did not use punctuation so we can get the answer entirely right. I'm interpretive dancing this thing to figure out what the heck the person's saying. But here we go. First, the video I put up. DIY, store-bought, cost-effective, pipe tubing, 45 long Colt, 410 shotgun, pistol. Now, I didn't use punctuation in my title. The reason for it is I ran out of room or whatever. But is a store-bought or a pipe tubing-based shotgun or pistol or rifle or whatever, what's going to work? And then under it, it has a secondary title. What pipe or tube diameter and schedules match 12 gauge and 410? Or just chamber well? Now, the fun thing about that is if anybody's curious about the answer, I'm just going to give it to you. The one of those two that actually works, that doesn't require as much effort and is safer, is actually the 12 gauge. 410 is actually fairly hard to make a barrel for sometimes. It depends on where you get the metal tubing from. If you look up aircraft or car roll cage metal tubing, you can look up, and this is the quote, chromoly, some variant of it, and 4130 or 41 something, 41XX chromoly steel. And you have to look up this exact number, 0.810. That it has to be stated that way, and you can put in inner diameter. And that's approximately the right kind of tubing, if you want to build one, to make one that really chambers well and makes a really good starting point to make a shotgun. The trouble is the outer diameter on it is usually a lot thinner, and also I should point out that some companies that make shotguns literally use that exact section of pipe, and it's $1 a foot. I'm not kidding. I used to do stock cars and weld stuff, so I might have some knowledge on this. Anyway, the other one that works is pipe tubing, Schedule 40 pipe, maybe. Will have an outer diameter that's bigger than that. It'll be a little over 1 inch. It's 1.05 inches on the outside diameter. It's a little thicker. And it's softer metal, which may actually be better for a shotgun, depending on what you're doing with it and if you're abusing it or not. And especially if you want to get something cheap that can tolerate you screwing it up and not hurt you. You want to make sure that if you're experimenting with making guns, you assume something bad's going to happen. You take all precautions, and you don't assume it's going to work perfectly on the first shot or 100th. It's not a shotgun barrel. Even the stuff when you buy it, the shotgun barrel material, you have to anneal it and reform it if you don't know how to do these things. And I'm not going to list that because that's way too complicated for even one video. So the videos I put up on how to do this are about what you can do to make it less dangerous. But anyway, on the 410 shotgun shell, yeah, you can actually build those barrels and stuff. But if you want something that will really work well, and you can get away with using it like a normal shotgun, that works. But you have to look for the right pipe, because depending on where the company that made the pipe and what type of metal it is, what's black pipe? Well, black pipe is different depending on which one you're looking up. You might get one that has a really good chambering, or it's crap. And then default, get a Schedule 80 3/4 inch pipe. It's too small to fit the shell, but the interior diameter matches what is usually called a 12 gauge shotgun bore. It's about 73 caliber, which is about what a 12 gauge shotgun shell fires through. You have to drill the chamber, which means you make it perfectly fit. You have to ream it. You have to do your job, do your due diligence, make enforcing cones. But if you're just wanting to build one, there's a couple of ways of doing this that are safe. The next section is structural member tube is measured with an exact diameter/tolerance, much tighter tolerances than gas or fluid transport pipe measured as nominal, which is never really accurate. Like I said, if you get the pipe that actually gets used for shotgun barrels, it might actually fit the shotgun shell. Derp. So anyway, we're going to look at someone's critiquing of me in the next 5 minutes or more. I stopped watching your video at 2 minutes and 25 seconds. I'm interpreting what he's saying. Again, punctuation's messed up. This guy's an idiot. I'm assuming he's talking about me and not somebody else. He, that would be me, Waptec, is talking about carrying a hand-built gun. If one carries a hand-built gun, that is a felony. It's federal law. Go look it up before you argue. You're wrong according to the federal law. ATF ruling states that if you make your own gun for your own personal purposes, and it is not illegal in any other way, and you are not legally forbidden from having access to a gun in any other way, as far as the federal government's concerned, specifically the federal government, it's hands off. No, it's not a discussion. Also, one of the links, one of many links in the video, actually points to the ATF posting about that. They tend to go on and on, well, if you do this, and they just list things that are illegal. They don't tell you what you're allowed to do, but they eventually stopped hemming and hawing and said, yeah, you're allowed to make a gun. In the United States, a person can make a gun. This is all over the freaking news. It's not federally regulated. Next, and to answer your question, is a hand cannon federally regulated home-built gun? You had to stick that in a second time. That's what she said. Again, it's not federally regulated, so I'm skipping that. To answer your question, is a hand cannon more powerful than a store-bought gun? And then the person answers their own question. Now, I'm going to point this out. Powerful is based on the cartridge used and constriction in the barrel. If it's a rifled barrel firing a bullet, if you do the barrel correctly, it should do about the same as a normal gun. That's what you want to achieve. When it comes to shotguns and stuff, there's so many variables. It depends on what you're trying to use it for. That's why I kind of like exploring them. They're interesting because they're not set in stone. Next. Usually, no. It's not because of the loose tolerances. Now, that could be usually no, comma, it's not because of the loose tolerances, or usually no, it's not because of the loose tolerances. That sentence, without the punctuation, could mean one thing and its exact opposite. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding about this. Normally I don't say this, but the archived link below in this video, I want everyone to go look at that and tell me, am I on crack on that one? Because honestly, usually no, it's not because of the loose tolerances. Usually no. It's not because of the loose tolerances, though. Or, if anybody's curious why a home-built gun may not be as powerful as a store-bought gun, it is actually because of loose tolerances, which I also addressed in the video, after the point when the guy said he stopped watching. Or because they don't know what they're doing and make it badly, or other. I also have to point out, after that point, which he says he didn't watch, I point out that you shouldn't do any of these things before you do one simple thing. Go to a range in your area that lets you rent out, for a few minutes, a real honest-to-goodness 50 caliber pistol, like let's say a Desert Eagle, and fire it and see if you really want to build anything, because that's 50 caliber. That's around the same kind of diameter. You could get a 45 and fire it. If you haven't fired one of these things, you may not realize you just don't want to fire one. You should have experience with the guns before you build them and actually own them. Don't buy a gun and then find out you hate the damn thing. It's a waste of money and time, and you're not going to be happy with yourself afterwards. And you have no one to blame but yourself. Are home-built guns fun range toys? Yes, they are. Okay, I can agree. Are they good for hunting? Yes, they are. No. If you don't build them right, they're not, especially shotguns. If you don't get a pattern that will work for whatever you're shooting at, I'm sorry, but an $88 12-gauge shotgun can be bought that you can put chokes in. You can get a pump action for less than $200 these days. Buy a real gun. Are they good for home defense? Sure, if it's a good quality build with a rifled barrel. I hope we're not talking about shotguns, because depending on what, again, that has many, many more variables. That's why I'm interested in them. But that's also why it's such a catch-22 with 12 gauges. If you build one, they're easy to build, and they're easy to build badly, depending on what you're using them for. There's no such thing as the universal perfect gun. But if you're doing a rifled barrel statement, I'm assuming you're talking about pistols and rifles that fire a single projectile. And I was also throw in 12 gauges doing rifling and rifled barrel. That's cool. But that's not actually a really good home defense gun, in my opinion, if it's a shotgun. If you're talking about a rifle or pistol, yeah, obviously you need to have a rifle barrel. In fact, you're federally regulated, blah, blah, blah. According to federal law, if you make certain guns, they have to be rifled. Later, y'all, as I'm out, as I have no desire to listen to some idiot spew BS and will not respond to comments. He posted this a couple hours ago and he wants immediate gratification. That joke wrote itself. So, to review, I don't know if you've ever posted before. Maybe you're new here. Next, You deliberately told everybody that you didn't watch the rest of the video, where I basically explained why I brought up in the first 2 minutes and 25 seconds what the question is that I'm answering. So now that I've wasted everybody's time, including mine, let's review. The parts are laying, I'm not kidding, a couple of days ago I literally found yet another piece of metal pipe sitting on the side of the road and checked it with my gauge, and physically it's a 12 gauge shotgun chamber. It's a long hunk of pipe I can make a shotgun out of. Number two. There is no number two. The parts are literally laying around. It's the only one that people really think of that they could do and not get hurt. Maybe giving them a false sense of confidence in their abilities when they don't have it. Next, shotguns are the easiest guns to make and the hardest ones to regulate and master the design of, to make them perfect unless you cheat a little bit, and that's what the video channel is actually about. And one of those cheats is actually not doing anything but using a straight barrel. You can do that. The length of the barrel isn't really relevant. You just drill out the other end and put in choke tubes. It's a real simple cheat, and it has a lot less kick to it. And again, the best cheat in the world is spend $88 and get yourself a break action 12 gauge and be done with it. Get some experience with it. And then again, I told people, if you want to build a 45 or a 50 caliber hand cannon, go fire one first before you even try it. Most people who do it never want to build one again. I don't want to build one. I have a 12 gauge pistol. I made one once, but I have one now. It's a plastic toy one. But I fired a 12 gauge pistol I built once and took it apart immediately. Don't build a 12 gauge pistol and fire it. Sounds like fun. It isn't. It really is fucking not okay. And you better wear hearing protection. However, firing a 12 gauge barrel that's a complete straight barrel that you make out of hunk of pipe the same way. You could even build it the same with just a long barrel. Just make sure it's long enough that it's legal. Isn't that bad. You just have to have a little mass behind it. But I'm an idiot spewing BS, but you didn't listen to the entire video. The rest of the video told you all the stuff that you missed out on and are getting here. And as for me not responding to comments, I'm doing so in the form of a video, because you're the only person who posted anything that was interesting to comment on today, besides everything else I might have done a video on. Next, I don't let people post immediately, because today I got a bunch of people coming along posting spam, and one guy posted a link to a illegal porn site. So I don't let everything post. Anyway, you clicked on a video about DIY store-bought and cost-effective pipe tubing, 45 long Colt and 410 shotguns that talks about making DIY shotguns, and then misquoted federal law by saying it's illegal to. Now, the first thing you're going to say is, I was talking about pistols. You didn't clarify it. I didn't mean what it said. You didn't use punctuation, so we'd have no idea what you're talking about. And flat out, it's not a federally regulated home-built gun. And next thing is, and if you're not aware of this, it is not illegal to make a 12-gauge pistol. It just fucking isn't. It's considered a restricted weapon. You might have to spend $500 or $200 depending on how you build it. It's not illegal. You can also do an experiment where you make a long handle shotgun. It's just got a barrel this long on the end of a big stick. It's called a bang stick. It's for killing alligators, but you can do that to make yourself a short barrel shotgun legally, and you can do the experiments that way, which I may do someday, in a hole in the ground pointing straight down, because I do not want to hurt anybody. Lurk more. Next, this is being commented, and not just because it's the only comment today that was interesting, but it's a quintessential example of how not to type a comment under a video. You didn't use punctuation. I'm not even sure you hit enter so I could figure out the pacing. I don't know exactly what you're saying here. I'm assuming the best here. And yes, if you make a rifled barreled pistol that's 12 gauge, it's illegal. It just is. But if it's a 1-inch bore, or specifically 1.05, 1.05 is the diameter for the next gauge of pipe up. That's a flare gun, and that's legal, and you can even make one that's rifled, apparently. It's not illegal. And again, it's not illegal to just make your own gun. The thing is, obviously that one can't fire any real cartridges, and on the 12 gauge, you have to pay a $200 or $5 tax, but don't do it because it's illegal otherwise. And it's dumb. Anyway, and again, if you want to actually build a hand cannon, find out if you want to fire one before you build one. And thank you very much for posting that you didn't watch the entire video, and all these assumptions. It's a perfect comment. This is the perfect YouTube comment. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. Have a good day. Bye.